Thank you very much, Azwi. Money, money, money. 2020 is only 4 days old. And if putting money aside or saving is one of the things that you've got on your to-do list, well, then this is the interview for you. Saving is often encouraged, and one question that is asked by many is, what do you save when you don't even have enough to cover the basics? Well, to share with us some tips on how to look after one's finances, we're joined in studio by Ernest Zamisa of Momentum. He's a financial advisor. A very good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Valen.
Okay, so what are your tips then for somebody that is looking to review their personal spending and make sure that they are saving something?
Well, Valen, I think it goes back to the basics. I think the first thing that every individual needs to make is to set a goal of what they want to see at the end of the year or at the end of the decade. And on those basis, you then structure a plan that works according to you. I mean, there are a couple of things that you need to look into. How much to save? How much do you earn? In fact, how much do you allow yourself to spend on things that you do enjoy? And on those bases, if you cannot come around to figure it out by yourself, get a coach, get a financial advisor, or get somebody that is well-versed in finances to be able to assist you in getting those things in place.
What is the rule of thumb? If everybody lived in an ideal world and people didn't have exorbitant debt, what would be the rule of thumb of how much you should be saving between your 30s and 40s to ensure that you've got enough once you retire?
Look, the rule of thumb would be about 15% of your income should be allocated to savings, primarily for long-term type of savings, because you want to take advantage of the compound effect.
Did you say 15 or 50?
1 5.
1 5, okay. Yeah. Sure, I was going to have a heart attack right here on the chair. 15%. Because that's the other thing, is that middle-class South Africa, we had a chief economist from Econometrics saying that over 70% of South Africans are indebted. So many people are not even looking just to save, they're just trying to get rid of the debt that they have. That's
absolutely true, and hence one of the things that you need to look at is, I mean, if you're in debt, it's, let me make an example. I mean, we could look at ourselves as critical but stable, you know. So you would then say we would need a financial hospital to sort of assist you. And if you come to a realization that you by yourself could not be disciplined enough to save or be disciplined enough to look after your own finances, then it's time for you to get a nurse or a doctor, which then would be a financial advisor, a tax advisor, or an estate advisor. And in this case, I mean, if you are overly indebted, a debt counselor will then be able to go through your bank statement with you, to take you through your finances, have a look at your behavior with regards to finances, and have a look at your situation, and can actually sympathize with you and allow you to take steps out of that specific situation.
Yeah, and that's something that's so incredibly important, because a third party is so important in a process like that, because you need somebody to help you change your habits. Otherwise, you're just going to go from the fireplace into another fire once you get rid of that debt.
You know, Momentum has also done research. That was Momentum with UNISA, and it was the success is science, part of the research they did, and they discovered that, you know, it's all in the behavior, and it's all about emotions that are involved in it. So you definitely need an outside individual who will then be able to say, look, I understand how you feel about certain things, but let's have a look at the practical aspects of it. So in essence, having somebody outside, I mean, I look at South Africa's example in terms of financial advisors. We are so privileged. If you go to Australia or the UK or the United States, you find that you actually have to pay your financial advisor to come and see you, because they charge consultation fee. In South Africa, you'll be able to see a financial advisor and they'll be able to assist you. And they've got alternative methods of being able to be compensated, which is far less than it would have been had you had to just pay the individual. And so the key thing would be, you know, let people get help. If you're not feeling well, if you're sick, naturally, you would go to a doctor. and you would trust that the doctor will be able to prescribe to you medication or be able to assess your condition and assist you. Similarly, in this case, there is a financial crisis that we need to look into, and everybody sort of needs to see a financial advisor to be able to make sure that their savings are taken into consideration, their retirement plans are considered, but mostly that the insurance for when something does happen is in place, because what we see is that when the unexpected happens, that's when families break apart. That's when the situation becomes catastrophic.
What savings accounts are out there for people that you would highlight that they should be looking into for 2020?
Well, when you speak about savings, I mean, one of the first basic savings that you would look at is your emergency type of fund that you would have. That means should something happen that you need cash. So you could put something in the money market that's primarily available within 24 hours to a month. But then if you're looking at long-term type of savings where you want to capitalize on compound effect, you would then look at your retirement type of planning, where you're starting to save for retirement, because what you want to gain on that is the effect that your money will eventually be able to produce for you. And then you can look at your 5-year plans and your 10-year plans, and this is reliant on what your goal is. So it's not just putting money away because you just want to have money. It's actually saying, what is my goal? What do I want to achieve? How am I going to achieve that? And how are the funds or the savings vehicle going to arrive at this particular goal?
Do you think there's enough education out there about saving in South Africa?
There's enough information, but education, I don't think so. I think as well as we're not holding enough discussion about it. It's not something that we have on our dinner table. It's not something that we have over our meals and say, look, are you financially okay? Because what I've noticed is we do everything for show. We don't do everything for sure. So we're not sure that we are financially safe, but we do everything to show that we look like we are financially. So that's one of the key things that we need to be able to start talking about and say, your car is beautiful, but look, are you sorted everywhere else,
What is the age that you should be starting to save? What is the correct age? Don't give me a heart attack here.
I'm going to give you one of the lessons that I learned myself was start buying a retirement plan for your child when they are born. It's one of the best things you can do for them for retirement. So there's no ideal age. It's about as I said, it's about the strategy you're going into. It's about the goal that you want to go into. And so some people would say, an education plan, buy it the moment you realize that you're pregnant, because schools are quite pricey. University is quite pricey, so by the time they are 10 or they're in school, it's a bit late to say I'm starting to save.
All right, lovely stuff. Thank you so much for coming into the studio to help put us straight when it comes to our financial health and maybe what we need to be thinking about going into 2020. Ernest Zamisa from Momentum talking to us about how to plan and manage our finances, as well as ensuring a culture of saving, because it's never too early to begin. Start saving for your child's retirement when they are born. Those are just some of the thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts when it comes to saving money or financial health. You can get involved on social media, on Twitter. We're at Morning Live SABC. Do stay with us.